5 secret pains of the chosen ones. Some burdens you carry cannot be explained, and some struggles feel heavier than the world should allow. There is a fire within you, a calling that stirs your spirit, and yet the path feels lonely, misunderstood, and at times unbearably hard. That tension, that weight on your heart, is not by accident, it is the mark of the chosen. God has placed a destiny on your life, and with it comes pains that are meant to refine you, not break you. The Bible tells us in Isaiah chapter 48, verse 10, that God says, "I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." Every moment of isolation, every trial that seems unseen, every delay that frustrates you is a part of God shaping you into a vessel capable of carrying His glory. These pains are not punishments, they are preparations. They are the secret struggles of those whom God has called to a higher purpose, the hidden crucible where faith is strengthened and character is forged. Today, we are going to walk through 5 pains that only the chosen ones carry, pains that may feel heavy now, but are preparing you for a future full of divine triumph, purpose, and eternal significance. The pain of being misunderstood. There is a unique burden that falls on the shoulders of those God has called, the pain of being misunderstood. It is not just the casual misunderstanding that comes from ignorance. It is the deep, piercing sense that even those closest to you cannot see the calling on your life, the vision in your heart, or the weight of the battles you face. Joseph experienced this pain firsthand. In Genesis chapter 37, verses 18 through 20, we hear how his own brothers plotted against him, saying, "Here comes the dreamer. Let us kill him and throw him into a pit," because they could not understand the dreams God had placed in Joseph's heart. The chosen ones are often seen as different, sometimes even strange, because their thoughts, their priorities, and their vision are aligned with God and not the world. This misunderstanding is not limited to rejection from others. It also comes as inner conflict. People may question your motives, doubt your intentions, or assume pride where there is humility. You carry a calling that few can recognize, and the world measures you by its own standards rather than by God's purpose. The pain is real, it stings, it isolates, and yet this very pain is refining. In James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." The loneliness that comes from being misunderstood is producing endurance, shaping patience, and deepening your reliance on God rather than human approval. Being misunderstood is also a test of your humility. The chosen are not called to seek applause, recognition, or validation from the crowd. They are called to remain faithful, to keep walking in obedience even when the road is lonely and the vision is mocked. Like the prophets of old, you may cry out in faith, warning, or guidance, only to be dismissed or ignored. The weight of misunderstanding can press heavily on your heart, yet God promises to never abandon you. Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3 says of the Messiah, "He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering." You walk a similar path in your own calling, misunderstood, yet known intimately by God. Every whisper of doubt from others, every sideways glance, every unkind word is a refinement of character. It is shaping you into someone whose faith is unshakable, whose vision is pure, and whose purpose cannot be derailed by the opinions of man. The pain of being misunderstood reminds you that your approval comes from God alone. Your mission is not to be understood by everyone, it is to be faithful to the one who called you. Embrace the loneliness, endure the critiques, and know that God sees what no one else can. The chosen bear this pain because they are being prepared for a destiny that the world cannot comprehend, a calling that is far greater than the momentary discomfort of being misjudged. The pain of spiritual isolation. One of the deepest, most hidden pains the chosen carry is the pain of spiritual isolation. This is not just loneliness or feeling socially disconnected. It is the profound solitude that comes when your soul walks a path few can follow, when the battles you face are fought in the unseen realm, and when the calling on your life separates you from the crowd. Jesus himself experienced this in the Garden of Gethsemane. In Matthew chapter 26, verses 36 through 38, we hear that he said to his disciples, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." Even those closest to him could not truly enter the depth of his spiritual struggle. This is the reality for those whom God has chosen. At times, no human presence can fully understand the intensity of what you carry. Spiritual isolation is heavy. It presses on your heart, saps your energy, and can make you question whether anyone truly sees your faithfulness or recognizes your devotion. There are moments when it feels as though God has hidden his face, even though he has not. The chosen ones often walk alone through trials that are both physical and spiritual, feeling the weight of responsibility to obey, to persevere, and to remain faithful in a world that cannot comprehend their burden. Psalm chapter 20:77, verses 1 through 3, reflects this struggle. "I cried out to God for help. I cried out to God to hear me. When I was in distress, I sought the Lord. At night I stretched out untiring hands, and I would not be comforted." The solitude you feel is not rejection, it is preparation. This isolation strengthens intimacy with God. When no one else can fully understand, it forces you to lean into his presence, to speak when no one listens, and to hear his voice above the noise of the world. It is in these moments, when the night is dark and the heart feels alone, that God whispers courage, reassurance, and divine insight. In Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10, God says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Spiritual isolation teaches you to rely on this promise, to trust his guidance, and to understand that the battle is often won in the quiet moments of unseen obedience. Though painful, spiritual isolation also cultivates a perspective that others cannot grasp. It sharpens discernment, refines character, and teaches endurance that is invisible to the world, but eternal in value. It reminds the chosen that their calling is sacred, that their struggles are not ordinary, and that the loneliness of the path is temporary, but the purpose is eternal. The pain of spiritual isolation is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It is a sacred space where your faith is tested, your heart is purified, and your soul is prepared for the extraordinary work he has entrusted to you. The pain of unseen sacrifice. There is a quiet suffering that marks the lives of the chosen, laboring, giving, and serving without recognition, without applause, without thanks. This is the pain of unseen sacrifice. You pour your heart into prayers, acts of service, and obedience, yet the world may never notice. The chosen walk a path of faithfulness that often goes unnoticed, much like the prophets of old, who spoke God's truth into deaf ears and were ignored, mocked, or even persecuted. In Hebrews chapter 11, verses 37 through 38, we read of those who were tortured, refusing to be released so that they might gain an even better resurrection. Others faced jeers and flogging, and even chains and imprisonment. Their sacrifices were unseen by many, yet God saw every act, every tear, every effort made in faith. Unseen sacrifice is heavy because the human heart naturally longs for recognition. You invest time, energy, and emotion, yet the reward seems delayed, invisible. or absent. Your giving may be rejected, misunderstood, or overlooked. But the chosen understand that their service is ultimately for God, not for men. In Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 through 24, it says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving." This is the perspective that transforms the pain of being unseen into a source of strength and perseverance. Every hidden prayer, every unacknowledged act of obedience, and every sacrifice made in secret is laying the foundation for a reward that is eternal. The pain of unseen sacrifice also teaches humility. It strips away the desire for recognition and cultivates a heart that seeks only God's approval. It is in these moments, when your efforts seem unnoticed, that your faith and integrity are tested and strengthened. Your endurance in the shadows shapes a character that is faithful, steadfast, and unwavering. In 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 10 through 11, it says, "Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God. If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ." The chosen carry this pain because God is preparing them for a purpose greater than recognition, a calling bigger than applause. Every unseen act is a seed planted in faith, destined to bear fruit in ways that are eternal and eternal only. The unseen sacrifice, while painful, is sacred. It marks the heart of the chosen, refining your motives, proving your devotion, and training you to serve with a purity of spirit that the world cannot reward, but heaven will. The pain of temptation and testing. Every chosen one faces a battlefield that is both visible and invisible. The pain of temptation and testing is a heavy cross that marks the path of those God has called. This is not a minor struggle, it is an ongoing spiritual war, a deliberate challenge to your faith, character, and obedience. Just as Jesus was led into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil in Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11, you too will face trials designed to test whether your faith is genuine and your devotion unwavering. The enemy seeks to distort your purpose, sow doubt in your heart, and make you question the calling God has placed upon your life. These trials often feel overwhelming because the chosen carry responsibilities and visions that others cannot understand. The temptations are not random. They are tailored to challenge your specific weaknesses, your deepest fears, and the areas where your faith can grow the most. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 13, it says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out, so that you can endure it." The testing you face is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to prepare you, to strengthen your resolve, and to prove that your faith is not dependent on comfort or ease, but on God Himself. Temptation and testing often feel isolating. You may see others enjoying ease, while you face intense pressure, confusion, or attack. Yet these moments are formative. They refine your spirit like gold refined in fire, teaching discernment, resilience, and steadfastness. James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, reminds us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." The pain you feel is producing a strength and maturity that cannot be gained in comfort or through shallow faith. Temptation and testing are also opportunities for intimacy with God. When every human solution fails, When every worldly escape is blocked, your soul turns fully to Him. In Psalm chapter 34, verses 17 through 18, it says, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the broken-hearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit." The trials you endure reveal not only your weaknesses, but also the depth of God's faithfulness, power, and presence in your life. The chosen carry the pain of temptation and testing because they are being prepared to stand firm in the face of opposition, to carry God's purpose without compromise, and to shine as lights in a dark world. Every trial, every challenge, every moment of spiritual struggle is refining you for a destiny that is too glorious to be touched by the fleeting ease of comfort. The pain is real, but so is the preparation it brings, and the chosen will rise from every test, stronger, wiser, and closer to God than ever before. The pain of waiting on God's timing. One of the most difficult pains the chosen carry is the pain of waiting. Your heart is ready, your faith is strong, your prayers are fervent, but the breakthrough has not yet come. The waiting feels long, the delays feel heavy, and the world seems to be moving on while your promise is still in the making. Abraham and Sarah experienced this painfully in Genesis chapter 15, verses 4 through 6. As God promised Abraham descendants as numerous as the stars, yet he had to wait decades for Isaac, the fulfillment of that promise. The chosen often feel the ache of longing, the tension between readiness and delay, and the frustration of God's timing, which moves at a pace the human heart struggles to understand. Waiting is painful because it exposes our impatience, our doubts, and our desire for control. The heart wants immediate answers, visible results, and tangible confirmation. Yet God's timing is perfect, and He works all things according to His purpose. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 and 11, it says, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end." The pain of waiting is not a sign of delay or denial. It is part of God's refining process. It teaches patience, builds trust, and strengthens hope. During this period, the chosen must guard their hearts against discouragement, comparison, and surrender to despair. Waiting tests faith like nothing else, because the unseen hand of God requires unwavering trust. Psalm chapter 27, verses 14, reminds us, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart, and wait for the Lord." Waiting is active, not passive. It is a season of preparation, growth, and alignment with God's will. Every moment of patience, every quiet act of obedience, every prayer lifted in faith is shaping you for the moment when God's promise finally arrives. The pain of waiting is sacred because it aligns your heart with God's eternal perspective. It teaches contentment, humility, and reliance on Him rather than the approval of the world or the impatience of your own desires. The chosen carry this pain because it is a necessary part of their journey, a preparation for the destiny that will unfold according to God's flawless timing. Though waiting is difficult, it is also purposeful. Every delay, every unanswered question, every season of silence is God's way of perfecting you, teaching you hope, and proving that when He acts, it will be complete, glorious, and eternal. Conclusion. The pains you carry as one of God's chosen are not random. They are not punishments, mistakes, or signs that you are failing. Each burden, each moment of loneliness, each trial, and every delayed promise is part of a divine design to shape, refine, and prepare you for a purpose that only God can see. The chosen are marked not by ease, but by endurance, not by comfort, but by faithfulness. In Romans chapter 8, verses 18 through 19, it says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. Every pain you bear is part of this revelation, a hidden labor producing an eternal reward. You have felt misunderstood, walked through isolation, given in ways the world could not see, endured testing that challenged your soul, and waited patiently on God's perfect timing. These are not meaningless struggles, they are the refining fire that produces character, wisdom, and steadfast faith. The world may never comprehend the depths of your journey, but God knows every step, every tear, and every moment of obedience. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2, reminds us, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. Take heart, chosen one. Your pain is purposeful, your struggles are sacred, and your calling is eternal. You are being prepared to carry a vision that is bigger than you, to walk a path that glorifies God, and to shine as a light in a world that may never understand. Every burden you carry is a seed for the harvest of blessing that God has ordained for your life. Stand firm, remain faithful, and trust in His plan. The chosen are never alone. Their pains are known, their purpose is sure, and their future is secure in the hands of the one who called them. Your story is being written by God Himself, and the glory that awaits will far outweigh the struggles of today.